Racing presents. Show us your tips. Daggy and Beaver with you on a Thursday night to look forward to two Group 1s at Rosehill, as well as some Group 1 racing on the Friday night from Moonee Valley. Beaver, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, mate. Just settled in here, mate. Ready to do the show. Watched a little bit of footy, AFL, NRL, soccer, and a bit of cricket still going on.
It's all happening.
That's all we're going, mate. It's a buffet. It's a buffet.
What else do you need?
What else do you need, mate?
Some good racing is what we need, though. It's on the horizon. We'll get to Moonee Valley. Oh, actually, just a quick mention. We did all right yesterday. Found a couple of winners.
We did all right.
Throughout the afternoon.
The Beaver, 3 out of 3. Give the multi leg up for Brizzy. That got up. And, yeah, there was plenty of winners around the traps. I think between both of us, mate, you would have had a good day.
I had a lot of the card covered, yeah. So it was an enjoyable afternoon. Hopefully we can
both
repeat
winners in the last, $5 plus both of those.
Yeah,
was very nice. Good way to finish today.
Definitely. So hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. We'll head to Rosehill first, where it is wet. Currently a soft 7. Apparently about 20 mil coming tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on it. But I don't think it's going to be bottomless. I think it would just be heavy without anything too scary. Par for the course, 5 metre rail. Probably want to be up and on until we see otherwise, Beaver.
I think so. The last weekend at Rosehill, it certainly early you wanted to be up and on, but it certainly it gave some other things a little bit of a chance, I think. Fireburn came from back, but was along the fence. Certainly along the fence early on and up on speed. Looked to be the go.
Yeah, so we'll see how that pans out. We kick off with the midway, which seems to be the pattern of the last month or so. Benchmark 72 over the 1,300 metres. How are we going to start the day?
Yeah, I'm not going to start the day here. I'm going to let this one go and get a little bit of a guide from this on how the track is playing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Look, I've got Duddle out on top here. Only got out late. J-Mac goes on. Should be better prepped for this. But I thought the couple of Buchanan, no, actually not both Buchanan horses. I thought Tampering and Margie B both fit into this race okay and might be up on pace and be one at odds you can look at, and Straub trialled okay, but tricky start to the day. I would be looking more for value rather than want to barrel into a favourite.
Yeah.
So,
particularly the favourite. I think it's unders at the moment. It gets back in the field. It's drawn wide here.
This will be $5 a field.
It needs to be.
Yeah. So that's why I was, as I said, sort of looking. Maybe Margie B and Straub can give you a sight away from there. But hopefully get our teeth into the 2-year-old race, which is race number 2, the Schweppervescence, over the 1,400 metres. Anything for us here?
Yeah, look, I've settled on Boyfriend. I think it'll race on pace. It needs to come across. Handled the heavy quite well at its most recent start, which was close up behind Sajardin. Sajardin didn't have the best of luck in the slipper. Should have finished closer. I had it on top, and I had the main danger as Miss Fabergé. It has some form, not bad form through Fireburn, which was dominant in the slippers. So I thought it would come down to those two, but I've just settled on Boyfriend as a bit more progressive.
I've got the same numbers, to be honest. I've just flipped them. I thought Miss Fabergé just held up at an important stage there in the finish last time. Hit the line pretty well. I thought you've summed up the Boyfriend line there of Sajardin. Sets up pretty well here and should be pretty much on pace from gate 11. Imagine goes straight to the front. And Williamsburg's one that will be looking for 400 metres. I thought it feels like there's a tail for this race. So
yeah,
I was happy to sort of drill down towards those two. All 3. Race 3 is the Group 3 2,000 metre. What do they call these ways? The Neville Selwood Stakes. Look, I'm giving Polygray another chance here. Now 3rd up, drawn in, should be fit. 2,000 metres, suits, track suits, and Tommy Berry going on. I think all the ticks here, and happy to give it another crack. And it's pretty much all we had to say about the race. I thought Monagle, a quick backup, might be the other one I would be looking at if I was going to have a saver. I just don't want to back Mount Popper in short. So Polly Gray from Monagle down in the weights there. And Polly Gray for the last couple has been lumping those big weights in the lead ups too.
Yep.
So I think Waller would feel like this is its chance third up.
Yeah, 100%. I've settled on Polly Gray as well. I went away from the favourite and then started to look at the rest of the field, and I came up with Polly Gray. We know it loves to sting out of the ground. The wetter it gets, the better it gets. 53, as you say, this is a lot of weight relief for what it's been running in. 2 starts back was pretty good. Put a line through last start, and hopefully it can bounce back to its best. It'll give us a very good side around the $556 mark.
Beautiful. Race 4 is the Group 2 Tulloch, where actually we've had some correspondence via YouTube. Elliot, I think it was, I just pulled up here, wrote in to make a case in this race for, and why not, because it's wide open, for, who was it here? Money from the Sky, the Mark Newnham horse. In short, he feels coming out a decent Goulburn maiden, and this race sets up pretty well for it. So thanks, Elliot, for throwing it in. He's been a long time subscriber to the show. So thanks, Elliot. Give that strength. Beaver, what were you thinking in this race? It's not a bad tip, to be honest, but
yeah, it is. It's a good tip, and we know how much the Beaver does like some of the Goulburn form and coming out of that race. So certainly wouldn't rule it out. Third up, and yeah, presents a good chance here. I think this is a pretty open field, and the distance certainly suits. I've gone for Paternal from the Wallace stable. It's only had the 3 starts, and I think last start it was at Goulburn as well, and that's why I've gone for it. I thought it quickened nicely. Gets out now the extra 400 metres. Looks like a horse on the way up to me. I like everything that it's done so far, and Huey Berman aboard with Waller trained. I think it can be super hard to beat, and you can't rule out character. It's got some really good form through some longer races back in last preparation. Behind, I think, what did it run 8th in the Derby. So it's certainly got a bit of ability, but Paternal for me, horse on the way up.
that character form, that race, I think, will play out later in the day too. We get to a couple of runners that beat at home, so we'll have a bit of an indication here. I have found Paternal as well, lightly raced. I thought last win was quite soft through the line, and this isn't. There's no metro form here, so the Goulburn form might be where it's at. So I found Paternal, and I'm at the each way price. I'm happy with it. I went looking away from that for the New Zealand form because I didn't have anywhere else to go, but I'm not quite sure of the strength of it this year. Regal Line was my second pick, Nash on third in the Derby, but this is a bit of a plotter, and realistic, it's probably been a couple of years since there's been a decent Kiwi 3-year-old come over. So maybe I'm on the wrong track there, but I didn't know where else to turn. So yeah, with Paternal here. Race 5 is the Emancipation, which is, what is it, a Group 3 these days? Group 2 for the mares. I ended up with the Melbourne form. Market's in the right order here. I've gone with Anavisto from Kiss and All Four Cheeks. I would have had it the other way around had the track been drier. Obviously, Anavisto, I think, sets up a bit better in the wet. It's going to be on pace, which will suit here. But Kiss on All Four Cheeks made a believer out of me last start. Times were good. Everything stood up. And it will be very hard to beat. The rest of these Sydney horses, barring Expat, are just making up numbers these days. So I was happy to look that way. Beavy, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking Anavisto as well. I think it sets up perfectly for it. Expat comes across from the 6 and leads. Anavisto probably comes across and sits outside of it. The middle of the track will be the place to be, up on pace here, and it'll just get the tag in the race, and somewhere in the final 200 will hit the lead. Can it hold on? I think so. Looks the one to beat.
Excellent. Race number 6. Don't know if this gets much easier here. With the Doncaster Prelude, what is this race? 1500 meter Group 3, Beaver. What have you done?
Yeah, this is a pretty open race here, and hard to find a lot to like. I settled on our Playboy purely because I think it's the best horse here. Loves the wet tracks. And I think they've brought it to Sydney looking for these tracks. Kent and is pretty shrewd. Jamie Carr is aboard. Bit worried about the one gate because it will get back and might get stuck on the fence there. That's probably the biggest thing that it's against it for me. But it's had some really good form last preparation. And as I said, does its best work on all the heavy tracks. So this should be hard to beat. I think last time it was on the heavy, ran very close second to Kid Magnus. So that's pretty good form for a race like this. Super hard to beat. And then I went for looking for something else at a bit of value and thought something like, where was it? Just trying to see what I liked down in the weights. Something like Coastwatch could be improved here, being third up after a spell. But yeah, not quite sure if it really handled the heavy last start. So that was a little bit of a worry for me as well. But it was in the Converge NMO race,
Yeah, it was
so it
chasing
could
some good
improve
ones.
sharply. Yeah, that's right.
Didn't know where to turn. I didn't like our Playboy just because, well, you mentioned Gate 1, Jamie Carr, Gate 1, Sydney. And I'm just not sure what that form is. Like, I'm a bit of a fan of King Magnus, but, Regalo, Di Catania wouldn't win at Morphettville these days. And before that, I don't know. So thought a bit short. I think that you'll get longer. I end up with special reward on top by default. Nice win a few back. $23. It then chased Think It Over and then just missed the start and was a bit out of play early last time. If you can forgive that, back out to 1,500 here suits and just might be a nice knockout chance for you. Yeah, then there's, I don't know where else to turn here. Arameo at $16. And look, Mr. Mozart, at least he's coming off a Sydney Saturday win, which is more than the rest of this field can say. So would be next pick, but happy to spec special reward here.
Yeah, the trick is with this race is you can pretty much find a reason why all of them can't win.
Yes.
And not too many reasons why they can win. You look at even special reward, distance and track doesn't have a lot of form in this. And yeah, it's carrying, 58 and a half on the heavy track, giving some of these 5 and 6 kilos. So, there's things like that as well.
Yeah. Well, it is $23, so I was happy to have a shot at the stumps more than
Why not?
with all that in mind. Race, which may be a good point to maybe we should be looking to the obvious with the two last start winners, Just Folk and Mr. Mozart. But let's move on to the quaddie.
Just Folk doesn't win often, mate.
No, I know, but it did last start. So
that might be the one.
Let's move on.
Might have missed it.
Let's move on to. It might be our Playboy's turn then, eh? 2,400 meter Tancred Stakes is next on the card, the Group 1, where we get the feed back up from the Group 1 down south. Beaver, what are you doing here?
Well, all of these three raced each other last start, and Duais was pretty dominant. The start before that looked pretty good when it had no luck and flew home against Very Elegant. I think there's a lot to like about this horse, and around the $3 mark's about the right price. Spanish Mission was good again, but yeah, it needs to win. Hasn't won for a while, and Think It Over. Well, we know it's as honest as they come, and we'll run a good race. Just not sure if the track gets out to heavy for Think It Over, whether it does its best work on the heavy tracks. But the same could be said about Duais. It hasn't won on the heavy, but looked to handle it 2 starts back, and probably over on the heavy it hasn't had the suitable distances. But look, I think Duais is a quality horse on the way up and looks to be the one to beat.
The only concern would be the 2,400. I don't think it's a major concern. And the thing is, there's no other 2,400 meter form here. So I think they're all similar boat here, apart from obviously Spanish Mission. So I was with Duais. I am with Duais. It owned the key rivals here last start. So I'm not going to think too much about it. I think coming back here sets up nicely. I think it does set up better on the wet than the other two would. And there's a lack of any other opposition, let's be honest. So just going to stick with that. And I think It Over is a mile, 2,000 meter horse. So happy to take it on. So Duais, the more I think about it, the more it's one of the better bets on the card.
It is.
Yeah. The Vinery is the other Group 1 on the card for the 3-year-old fillies over the 2,000 metres. These have all been thrown together in, well, out of that 3-year-old filly form. If it was dry, I'd be pretty keen on Mokalua, but it is a reduced choice in the wet, and that just doesn't seem to work. So I went looking out wide. I went looking down the bottom here to Pink Ivory. Bowled in at Newcastle last time. John Sargent, 3-year-old filly. It's 20-1. Happy to have something on it. I think it'll run very well here. And pretty amazing coming through a different form line. A lot of Goulburn form today, but been doing some nice stuff and slots in quite well here. You can answer the question I have about Gypsy Goddess. Any good?
Oh, look, it hasn't been beaten yet, so you got to give it you got to assume it's got a bit of ability here, and it's won all its races pretty easy. But look, what is that form? Who knows? But it certainly appears to have plenty of potential. I can't tip it till it race against better company. This is a pretty decent field, I think, and $4.20 favourites in this field. Look, not for me just yet. I'd have to see a little bit more. I've gone for pretty amazing. I've come off that Goulburn form as well, but Wallet's, quite often takes them down there for a kill, and to give him some confidence. Won its last 3, this horse, and I think it just keeps getting better and better. McDonald's aboard, pretty amazing for me. Super hard to beat. Obviously, still a watch on Fangirl. Just not quite sure where it's at, but this is probably a winnable race for it.
We'll get to my quality numbers later, and I'll mention the other chances then. Race 9 is the Star Kingdom over the 1,200 metres, another group race. What have you done?
Yeah, Maotai here. I think it looks pretty hard to beat. Again, probably another one of the better bets on the card. It's got the ideal draw here. We'll go forward. Ran really good time last start from the front. It's Rosehill, Ramwick, and then since come out and trialled very nicely at Rosehill. Last preparation, raced in some good quality races behind Home Affairs, Pulil, in the Congo, those types of races. None of those are in here. It should be super hard to beat. And then again, some of these others, they're just really hard to catch. Low down in the weights. Tim Clark rates them well out in front. This is going to be hard to beat.
I'm keen. I'm all over it. Since it's been gelded, it obviously bolted in, then won the trial by the length of the straight, which it's entitled to do mid-prep trial. But great setup here, and a lot of these are just making up the numbers these days. I thought one that might not be that I can forgive first up though is Count the Rupee coming back to Sydney. Again, it's $18. Just resumed in a non-event up the straight there, behind the Rockin' Horse, or in the Newmarket, whichever one that was. And this time in last prep, it was missing Thunderstruck in the Golden Eagle by a nose. So happy to throw it in as a main danger. I'm assuming Quantico is scratched, or will be scratched, because J-Mac booked on a dry track. I would definitely entertain it, but it has, I think both its misses have been in the wet. So I assume they might hold on another week for that one. Would be the other one I'd want to mention. Race 8 is the benchmark, race 10, in fact, is a benchmark 88, where my best on the card is Taksu. Bolted in last start, impressive fashion, and this is another field of making up the numbers horses. Only one I really looked at here. Hopefully no pressure from gate 1, and it can repeat the dose from a couple of weeks back. That's all for me, Beaver. What are you doing the last?
Yeah, I think probably that's the way to go. Jumps from the 1, probably jumps straight on the front, gets the middle of the track, and super hard to beat again. Only looks 2 chances in this race. Rustic Steel is going quite well and won really well. It's similarly at Newcastle as a pretty hot favourite there. But yeah, I've stuck with Taksu. I think it's again. There's probably a couple of races here where there's only 2 or 3 chances in them, and they look a couple of nice bets.
Excellent. Do you want to give us your? I will do the quaddie. I'll do this Rosehill quaddie first before I get your best. What am I going to do here? The first leg, the Tancred. I'm going to go 11 Duais, 2 Spanish Mission. Second leg, 3 Never Been Kissed, 4 Fangirl, 5 Mokalua, 6 Gypsy Goddess, 7 Pretty Amazing, 12 Pink Ivory. Race 9, I'm going to go 1 Count to Rupee and 18 Maotai. And in the last, I'm going to go 2 Our Intrigue, 7 A Rustic Steel, and 8 Taksu. So a couple of skinny legs there. Hopefully get a nice split in the middle and give us something to celebrate on Vinery Stud Stakes Day. Your best and value for progretracing.com.au.
Yeah, my best comes up in race 9, number 18, Maotai. I had that just in front of Duais. And my value bet comes up in race 4, number 11, Paternal, around the $8 mark.
Beautiful. I am going to make my best Taksu in the last, just to be a bit different to you, Beaver, but I do think Maotai very hard to beat. And my value, I'll make it count to Rupee in the second last. In that race, I think it can run you. I'll better give you a winner instead, actually. I agree with you with Paternal, will run well, but I think count to Rupee is a great place bet as well. We're going to do Friday night at the Valley, I believe now. Is that right, Beaver?
Yeah, why not? Rip in.
Excellent. Good track. Rail is in the true, which should suggest you can make ground, but as usual under lights here at the Valley, I'd want to see it first. So perhaps start the day on pace and see if we swing around a little bit by the end of the card. We kick off with a 1,200 metre quality handicap where I, to start the day, had penned everything coming through that restricted sales race, which left me with Zarastro, who pulled up lame up the straight first up. Didn't quite handle the straight either, over-raced a little bit. I think it's going to bounce straight on top with Craig Williams going on, and I think it will be first to the bend and first past the post. Pretty keen. What are you making of this?
Yeah, same. I'm pretty keen as well. I think you're right. I think it'll jump on the bunny here. It'll be much better suited around the bend, 1,200 metres, and I expect a big improvement here. Zarastro for me.
Race 2 is a benchmark 64, again over the 1,200. What do you like?
Yeah, tricky little race, this one. I've gone for Point Blaze. Thought it's been going well enough here. I think this race sets up where it can sit just off the pace, comes over from Morphettville, and I think that's a good pointer for me, and raced in some decent company there behind the likes of Ironclad. And prior to that, ran a really nice race at Murray Bridge before winning at Morphettville the start before that. These are sort of mostly kind of those types of horses, Morphettville horses or like that. So interesting it's bought here, 3 kilo claim. Could be hard to beat.
Nice find. I've got the top weight on top, Jucconi. I liked its resumption behind Growl, who we'll see in the next as well. But hoping Matty Doy can get to the middle of the track and we can make ground, because I don't think there's a lot else here. I think that's a very nice find with Point Blaze. You've mentioned, and the more I thought about this race, I could see perhaps with a few apprentices here that Damien Oliver might jump straight on the bunny with Sweet Carolina and make everyone nervous for a long time in this race. But yeah, I like what we've done there with Point Blaze, actually. But I'll get to the next, the Moonee, or the Valley Pearl listed race over the 1,200 metres for the 2-year-olds. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, good little affair this. Hard to line up some of this form through the different lines. I've set it on crosswinds. 1 start, 1 win from the Freedman stable. It was pretty impressive in its first up win. I think it could be hard to beat. Thought just not sure if it'll go to the front or not. Psychiatrist will probably hunt out and put a bit of pressure on. So either it will sit in the lead with Psychiatrist on the outside. I might just take the sit there, but might have a little bit of ability, and hopefully it does.
It was a nice win on debut. I've gone Nanagui with Carr going on board, though, with just because I think it'll find the fence here. And it beat Sebenak, all bar Sebenak on its debut, and then just got nabbed late by Ruthless Tame, who you found and is a horse I think that's got a bit of talent. So I think is rightful favourite and will run well. You mentioned crosswinds, and the horse that's been forgotten here, Cannon, did start $10 on debut off some okay trials, and he's now 60s. So bit of a watch on that one. Race 4 is the Sunline Stakes for the mares. What do you think? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, look, hard to go past Flying Mascot, to be honest. Wasn't so sure last start, but it was good. It actually raced a little bit ungenerously, but once settled and then just sat behind him and pulled out, and was very strong to the line. Yeah, I just think this is a good horse. Gate 3 looks to be perfect. Hard to go past, really.
Definitely. The only other chance is Barbed Raider, who's just the up and coming here, but there's no chasers. This sets up better than it sets up the same as the last 2 races at Baldwin, and I'm not going to add much more. It should win. Race 5 is the 55-second challenge over the 955. How are you playing this one?
Yeah, another tricky little race, but I've stuck with the top weight and the favourite here, Yulong Command. It's got the 1 gate. It goes quick. It'll go straight along the rails here and lead. Space Boy may put a little bit of pressure on. So it'll either, again, sitting behind that, but I'd be surprised if even Space Boy goes past Yulong Command here from the inside gate. Gets a 2 kilo claim, so in at 58's a nice little weight pull, and just loves Moonee Valley. Flies there, 5 out of 6 at the track with a second. Hard to get past that, really, isn't it?
Yep. Not much more to add again, unless the swoopers are really in play, then I will back Bless Her. But at this stage, definitely Yulong Command on top for everything you've just said just then. Race 6 is the benchmark 64, where I just noticed a couple of scratchings here. I've got Poleax on top. Jumped straight on the pace 10 days ago at Sandown, gave nothing else a chance, and ran away quite comfortably. And I think it does the same thing here. Inverell looked like a world beater first up. Don't know what to make of it second up, so might bounce back. But for me, I'd rather take the chance that Poleax can repeat the dose. Beaver?
Yeah, I've done the same as you. I'd like to watch the market a little bit to see if there is any money, and Inverell stays firm in the market. But if the truck is playing in front and the money comes for Poleax, then that's probably where you want to be.
The William Reid Stakes is a Group 1, 1,200 metres at 9:15 Friday night. The unbeaten Marabi or Marabi, coming off her Oakleigh Plate win, heads the market. Is it all pretty cut and dry here?
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? It's pretty hard to see it getting beaten. This is a pretty weak affair, to be brutally honest. There's probably a horse down in the market, Marine One. I think it can run well. It goes well, but probably the gate doesn't suit. Drawn out in 13. It can really run well. I'd be putting that in for me multis. I'd also put in Generation. It can run well in September Run. Has ability. They're the ones I'd be looking at.
You've again taken the wind out of my sails there. Marabi, obvious on top, right price. I had Marine Run second. I think it can run really well, around $5 or $6 a place. And Standout was third. Again, $5 or $6 a place, coming off A-grade Sydney sprinting stuff. Back onto a dry track will help, but what hasn't won for since. But the last time that other horse that didn't win won. some good English from me. What was the horse we just potted? It's very late. Hasn't won for 700 days. So, yeah. Race 8. We'll move on. The Alexandra Stakes over the mile. It wraps the card up. What's going on here, Beaver? I need to get some sleep.
Mate, I've settled on Daisies in the last. Second up here, should be fitter and improved. Gets a couple of extra 100 here. I would have, I think it'll be better suited when it gets out even to that mile and a quarter and beyond. But I thought its first run back was really, really good. It flew home behind Fortunate Kiss, Cardigan Queen. They're going well. Probably at Flemington was probably slightly more suited, but this isn't an overly strong affair. It's not a huge field. There's only 10 in it at this stage. As long as it gets off the fence, it could be swooping down the outside, hopefully.
Yeah, talented mare. I've gone with the market here, so you see. Just held up a little bit last time. Should have been a finish with Barbreda. And coming here, Gate 5, Jamie Mott. All good things to finish the night with. For my Friday night quaddie, which you'll do in a sec. Daisy, I agree, Daisy is a chance. And I think Ancient Girl's a chance. But the market says the same thing. So no revelations there. Do you want to give us a Moonee Valley Friday night quaddie? Get us kicked off for the weekend.
I will give you the Moonee Valley Friday night quaddie. And that is 1 in the first leg. Number 1, Yulong Command. Number 2, Bless Her. And number 6, Lady Solly. In the next leg, I've gone number 1, Inverell. Number 4, Poleaxed. And number 8, Look Sharpish. In the next leg, I've gone number 8, September Run, number 9, Marabi, and number 12, Generation.
Marine
Just
one?
as a knockout.
Generations.
And
okay.
What's that?
Said you're going
no
Marine
I'm just going
one?
to go No, I'll leave Marine 1 out.
Cool.
Can only have so many. I think the other
good.
thing's pretty much immoral, but I'll chuck those in. In the last, number 1, Bonds a Perla. Number 2, Daisies. Number 5, Decure, and number 8, So You See.
Very good. ProGetRacing.com.au presents the best and value at Moonee Valley, where I'll make my best race. Well, I'm keen race 1 and 2, the favourites there. Race 1, Zarastro. Race 2, Jucconi. And my value for the evening, should we be able to swoop, I think Bless Her will give you a sight in the sprint race, but should we not, what was the other one I said there? Marine 1 a place. We'll go with that. What are you thinking?
My best bet is Flying Mascot all on to Marabi. I think that's going to be about the $2.50 plus mark there. I think probably about $2.70 you might get. I think that's not bad as my best bet. And then my value bet comes up in the last. Race 8, number 2, Daisies.
Very good. Check out ProGetRacing.com.au for their plenty of news and racing going on there. You can find us. You can leave us some feedback on socials as well, Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot. You can leave us some feedback directly as well as in the comments on YouTube, which has been fantastic the last few weeks. Have you got anything? Well, first of all, we've got Mornington going on. Beaver, have you had a look at Mornington just quickly?
Mornington, I did have a few tips at Mornington on the Saturday. I'll just whip through those for you, mates. I had race 2, number 1, Yaki Ishi. Thought it'd be super hard to beat. I then had race 4, number 11, Jump the Broom. I think that'll be hard, resuming from the Hawk stable.
Make that 2 for
race 6, number 4, Crystal Pegasus. I think it'll win the Mornington Cup. It's going great guns at the moment. And my other bet of the day came up in race 8, number 8, British Columbia. Thought that was a bit of value.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm with you. Crystal Pegasus and Jump the Broom especially. But good little betting card there. It's Mornington as it is at Moonee Valley. So, well, while we're going, anything up north?
I did have a couple up north, and I'm just switching over now to find them for you. I had race 4, number 5, Lekvati. I think that's will run extremely well.
Yep.
I had race, let me just check here, race 7, number 13, Shamaton, resuming. Super hard to beat. And then race 8, number 8, Go Wanji.
Fantastic. Good work, Beaver. And good punting this Saturday. I will we'll chat off air. And hopefully we can catch up for that beer sometime next week once you're out of isolation.
Tomorrow, mate. That's
Happy
it. I'm done.
Not counting the days.
No, mate. It's all good for me.
All done. Beautiful. Good punting this week, punters. Stay safe, everyone, with a bit more rain on the way along the East Coast. And we'll talk to everyone next week for our midweek preview. Catch you soon.